What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Stellar Lumens, or XLM, whatever you want to call it, and look at the daily chart, the weekly chart, and the Stellar Bitcoin pair to see if we can find any clues on what is going to happen next for XLM. All right, so let's not waste any time here and jump straight on into the daily chart. As you guys can see, we have gone up and retested this resistance line that's been keeping us down really ever since February. You can see we went up and tested it in February here. We went up again and retested it in April, and we have now just recently came up and retested it again a couple of days ago, right? More preferably yesterday. So if we look at this, are we expecting to break that resistance? Well, there's a couple different things here. Well, if you look here on our two exponential moving averages here on the daily, we have our 50-day moving average and our 100-day moving average, which has been pretty much our support since we really started our true bull market for XLM back in November. You can see it's pretty much been our support here. We came back down to it here and tested the 100-day, tested the 50-day here, held the 50-day throughout this area, came back down, tested the 100, tested the 100, and held the 50. So you can see, I mean, that support band has been a support band this entire time down. And you guys can see every time we actually come back down to that 100-day moving average, we tend to have a pretty impulsive move afterwards that breaks new highs. Not all-time highs yet, but it tends to break new highs. You can see we touched the 100-day moving average here. We got our move up and made a new high. You can see we came back down, not quite to it there, but still below the 50. And then we made a new high. And you can see we just recently did the same thing. We came back down to it. So I am expecting a new high here if and when we can break this resistance line. We got to break this resistance line. This is really really big here for XLM. Now, that's kind of looking at the daily chart, right? Watch for a resistance level break here. Currently, right now, it's sitting right around 70 cents. If we can get a daily close above 70 cents, I'm going to be super bullish here in the short term. But switching on over to the weekly, this is what I really want to look at. You can see why this is such a big resistance. Why is the 70 cent, 71 cent such a big resistance? So you can see on the daily, that's where we closed all the way back in January 2018. You can see right there, that's where the candle body closes were. So we wicked up to it a couple times here, and we got rejected actually twice on a couple of different candles here. Now, what I don't want to do, and I think we need to continue up here, because if we don't continue up, you can see what we CUSP be forming here, right, on the weekly chart. So you can see if we keep making higher highs, right, but we keep making lower highs on the RSI, we could have some pretty gnarly bearish divergence here if we get rejected at this level once again. But is that kind of forming something that could actually push us to the upside? Let's take a look here. We could have the possibility, right? I mean, it's a low handle, but you can see on the weekly, it is a possibility we do have a nice little cup and handle forming here if we can break this resistance on a closed basis. It's basically the same thing. If on the weekly chart, we can get back above if we can get a close above 70 cents, I'm seeing the possibility of a massive move here coming for Stellar up to our next target, which we're going to look at shortly. But I did also want to look at our bull market support band. Since November, this is hold as well. You can see our 10-week moving average and our 20-week moving average perfectly holding here. We actually did get a bounce into our support band, and we have now gotten a bounce back up. But what can we look at? What can we expect really for our next move up for XLM? Well, you can see obviously after our candle body highs, right, which are about 71 cents, if we can break that level, we obviously have our wick up here from back in January 2018 as well, sitting at about 94 cents, give or take a few cents there. We can also take a look at our Fib extension targets from our top to our bottom of our bear market. And you can see that we have recently gone up and tested the 786 Fibonacci, which is right at that 71 cent mark. But if we do continue up here, we do have our 1.618 Fibonacci at about 147 and our 2.618 Fibonacci at about 234. So obviously those probably aren't going to be hit, obviously for probably a few months realistically, but those are a couple levels we can look at here for maybe some take profit areas if we are invested in XLM in the longer term time frame here. So I did want to check out that. The last thing I did want to check out for Stellar today was the fractal we've been looking at for a while. Have we broken out of that fractal? Well, we've gone up and retested again for the fourth time. You guys can see You guys know, if you've been following this channel for a while, I've been talking about this fractal forever. I do think eventually this is going to make a huge push to the upside here for XLM. You can see it the last couple times we've kind of made a double bottom, kept getting horizontal resistance. We end up having a big move here. You can see one here labeled. You can see two here labeled, double bottom, horizontal resistance. We broke it. Double bottom, horizontal resistance, we broke it on the third time. And you can see the same thing we're doing here, right? We made pretty much a double bottom here. Horizontal resistance. And once we break this resistance, I do believe we're going to see a pretty gnarly move up here for XLM. It's a matter of time before eventually we do break that resistance on a weekly close. We got to get a weekly close above about 0.0000109 on the ratio in order to really get a next big move up here for XLM. But that's really what I want to touch on today. More of a longer term video on XLM today, because that's what really matters at the end of the day, as we know, guys. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys leave a like. Also subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy today's content. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.